was born by the river in a little tent, yeah. And just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long
time coming, but I know
a change gonna come. Can I get a witness out there?
Oh, go ahead and sing it. It's been too hard living.
It's been too hard living.
Ha.
But I'm afraid to die.
Oh, I'm afraid to close my eyes.
I don't know what's up there. Beyond the sky.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Oh, it's been a long time coming. But I know
a change. It's gonna come. Oh, come on, sing it. Yes, it is.
Just wave your hands right there, somebody. This is my favorite part.
Tell us.
Then I go to my brother.
And I say, brother, help me, please.
I said, brother, oh, brother, would you help me, please?
Woo.
But he winds up.
The same brother winds up
know somebody like that?
knocking me.
Winds up knocking me. Yeah. Back down.
Back down.
Back down.
Back down.
To my knees. There were times when I thought,
Oh, come on now, sing it now.
I would last for long.
And
But now I feel that
the beautiful song, originally sung by the great Sam Cooke, but this was Dietrich Haddon's rendition of Sam Cooke's "A Change Is Going to Come." I can never get enough of that rendition. It's beautiful. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with me, a few moments with me here on SML TV. I'll only be a few minutes. I won't be long. Just a few shout outs to you, Patrick Jr. I'm loving the song. Well, thank you. I'm glad. Who is that? Sometimes I got to do this. Malungo, Judith. It's your gesture for me. Okay. Well, thank you. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Before I get into my little show today, I'd like to share these books with you. I'm going to send 5 of these to 5 of you that would like a copy. This is a brand new book by Mr. Pumulo E. Mungoma. This is a civil servant that was deeply, deeply in debt, almost to the point where he was incapacitated by debt. And many of you know that debt has the tendency of doing that sometimes. Sometimes you feel like there's no way out. Well, this man wrote a book, and he was mentored by Mr. James Capessa, who sort of helped him navigate through this valley, this very dark, dense, demented valley of debt. And once he received the help that he needed, Mr. James Capessa, who incidentally wrote the foreword to this book, Capessa encouraged this man and told him, you know, you need to tell your story, and you need to share how you came out of debt, because there's so many people that are in the same position, people that they do not have any financial literacy. They don't know what money means. To them, money is just something that they spend, and they dig themselves into a hole. This book, I guarantee you, will help you sort of see things clearly. So I'm going to give 5 copies. I'll choose randomly, select 5 of you, and I will send you this book. As long as you're here in Lusaka, I will send you a copy of this. So 5 of you, I'll choose 5 of you today after the show, and I will send you a copy. Okay? It's called The Wages of Debt by Pumulo E. Mungoma. All right. Thank you. Guys, did you read the Digger's headline today? I just want to give you my 2 cents worth. The headline said DEC probes PF media adverts. Over 100 million kwacha paid to media houses as Mr. Mwila, Davis Mwila, implicates law firm on source of funds. Let me explain what this is. You must understand, first of all, that anytime you have an election year, regardless of which country it is, it doesn't matter if it's in Colombia, it doesn't matter if it's in the USA, it doesn't matter if it's in Great Britain, doesn't matter if it's Spain, doesn't matter if it's in Madagascar. As long as a country is going through an election cycle, media houses make tons of money. Why? Because political parties are jostling to get their message to the masses. And how do you do that? You use the media, print, radio, television, electronic media. Whatever is at your disposal as a political party. Can I tell you, let me throw it up here so that you understand. Let me, just so that you have a clear picture of what I'm talking about. Oops, sorry. Let me see, this is what happens when you're not prepared. Okay, this is what happens. Okay. All right, I'll just go ahead and say it. I was going to type it on there, but I'll just say it. Do you realize in 2016, the American presidential 2016 race, both presidential and congressional? In other words, in Zambia, we would say presidential, we would say tripartite elections. You know, anytime you go through an election where a new president is going to be elected, new members of parliament, new councilors, the whole gamut. In America in 2016, do you know how much money? This is a documented fact. There's nothing secretive about this. In America, campaign finance reform is a very, very important issue. Campaign finance, meaning it's very important for political parties to disclose who's donating, how much they have, and how much they spend on adverts, political adverts. Are you following me? In 2016, in America, in the presidential and congressional campaigns, the race, do you realize that $6.5 billion was spent on advertising alone? I want that to sink in for a moment because you need to get the weightiness of this issue. Oh, really? I'm sorry. The video's lagging. You know, I'm using my inbuilt camera in my laptop. That's a connection thing. In fact, they tell you in vlogging that never use Wi-Fi. I should use the Ethernet, but for some reason my laptop doesn't have an Ethernet port. How do I fix that? Somebody explain that to me. Somebody says the video's lagging. I'm sure you mean lagging. Here you've said ragging. It's lagging. Okay, so let me get. I apologize for the lagging. It's the internet connection, I suppose. My sincere apologies. Again, someone says the video is lagging. There's nothing more annoying than that. But anyway, I'll get it anyway. So in America, the political parties, for example, the Democratic Party spent a certain amount of money on adverts alone. The Republican Party spent a certain amount of money on television, radio, print adverts alone. Combined, $6.5 billion was spent on advertising. It's big business. It's not a joke. Television stations make lots of money on advertising. It's a business. So when you come to this story, and I can only give you my personal story, SML TV, you remember when I first created this platform, the original idea for SML, my original vision was to create a Facebook presence in the CBD that showcased things that happened here in the Simoson City Market, Lumumba Road, Kalusha-Walia Road area. That was my vision. That was the original idea. But over time, I noticed that the page began to evolve. And because it evolved, I felt that I had to evolve with it. And because I started receiving, people would send me commercials and adverts, and I sort of inquired, I asked around, what's the going rate for advertising on social media? Now, some of you may understand this lingo that I'm about to share with you. SML TV has a conservative audience, okay? When I say conservative, I mean a conservative number of people that watch us. We are not massive in the social media space. We're there, but we're not there yet. We are inching towards 400,000 followers, but our reach is about 3.3 million people. And each page has its own different sort of reach. Okay, we have a reach of about 3.3 million people. But and that's the number of people collectively that are watching or listening, because there are people on Facebook, they watch, but they never like, comment, they never share, they just watch it. Facebook tells you all of that. So collectively, we have SML TV has about 3.3 million. We have a reach of 3.3 million people. Okay. So I started charging people to advertise on this platform because ultimately that's a great revenue stream to advertise. And so what I also did was that I began to invest a bit of money in this little office studio. What you're looking at now is actually my office. I mean, this is where I work. So what I did was, I bought some mics, I bought some lights, I bought some cameras, which, to be honest with you, I'm embarrassed to say, I've got these really nice high-tech cameras. I don't even know how to use them. So they're just sitting. My son uses them, But anyway, so I said all of that to say this. At some point, about a year and a half, close to 2 years, well, was it a year and a, yeah, about a year and a half ago, I decided to add the word television to the name of the Facebook page, because I began to notice that people more and more were beginning to want to use it as an advertising platform. So I switched it. Instead of just saying Simon Werlane, I said Simon Werlane Television to justify the adverts. And naturally, when we finally got to an election year, which was last year, naturally, I approached the political parties Now, this is what's interesting about Zambian political parties is that they don't reach out to you. No sound? Guys, tell me, is there no sound? Someone says no sound. This is not going the way I planned. Somebody please tell me in the comments below, is there sound? No sound? Someone says no sound. Can you guys hear me? Okay. There is sound. I don't know why that person said no sound. Sound is fine. Just lagging video. Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I was saying that in Zambia, it's about the connections. It's about your network. I can only speak for myself. I have friends in the Patriotic Front that I approached and I said, hey, look, if you ever need to advertise to air your adverts, I'm available. And my friend said, hey, send us your rates and we'll let you know, which I did. And all political parties do this. And they don't concentrate on one platform. They do social media, they do conventional mainstream media, ZNBC and so on. ZNBC has its own rates because they've got a different type of coverage. They've got a different type of reach. Social media, depending on who you are and how far your reach is, you have your own rates. So I gave them my rates, and I also went to the UPND. I have friends in the UPND, and I asked them the same thing. I said, hey, look, we're coming up to an election year. If you need, I tell you, this is so annoying. The syncing, it's not syncing. It's really annoying. Anyway, so I told my friends in the UPND, I said, hey, if you need a platform to advertise your stuff, I'm available. These are my rates. And as soon as the election season kicked off, the Patriotic Front started sending me commercials. Now, we signed a contract. Before we agreed on how many adverts are to be aired every week. We signed a contract, and then the Patriotic Front paid. They paid for the adverts that we aired. This was the way it worked. We signed a contract with the law firm that's talked about here. I think it's called, what is it called? Yes. This is AMLP. AMLP was the law firm that we signed a contract with. All the media houses that dealt with the Patriotic Front, you had to sign an agreement. You signed a contract. You gave them your rates. You signed a contract. You started airing the adverts, and then they paid you for those adverts. That was the deal. There's nothing strange about that. Okay. Now, I'm not sure why DEC is probing the Patriotic Front. I'm not sure why they're doing that, because the only question though is, where did the money for the adverts come from? If that's the question, only the Patriotic Front can answer that. And this is the reason in America, they've got a very strict system when it comes to donating money for campaign purposes. There is a limit to how much you can donate. Why? Because they don't want one political party to have an advantage over another one. Let me say that again. In America, there's a limit. For example, if Bill Gates in America, Bill Gates decides to donate to the Democratic Party, he's a billionaire. But the law in America says he can only donate up to a certain point up to a certain amount. So that someone like me who's not a billionaire, I donate. I can donate up to the same amount of money. There's a maximum amount of money that one person can donate to a political party. Just because Bill Gates is a billionaire and he likes a presidential candidate, Bill Gates can't just wake up and say, you know what, I like you, I want you to be president, because when you become president, there's certain things that I know I can get from you if you become president. So I'm going to donate $10 billion. In America, it doesn't exist. They've got a cap. They've got a limit to how much you can donate. And they do that for accountability purposes. They do that so that the level playing field is level. Are you getting this? In Zambia, it's different. In Zambia, we don't have campaign finance reform. And this is the beginning of campaign finance reform. What this does, this is a good thing. What this does is it brings into question who's donating what and how much money are they donating. If you've got a big company, a big corporation that brings in billions of kwacha, and they see a candidate that they like, and they donate an insurmountable amount of money to that candidate, that gives the candidate undue advantage. This is the reason Zambians need to rethink how we view campaign financing. The way it's supposed to work is, if you like, for example, if you like the UPND, and you are a member of the UPND, and you call yourself a member of the UPND, what you're supposed to be doing is you're supposed to be donating money to that party. The only question is, how much money are you donating? And is there a regulatory system? Is there a system that regulates how much money a single man or a single company can donate to a political party? The answer is no. We don't have such mechanisms in Zambia. In Zambia, a big company can just meet the president secretly with a big suitcase full of money and say, Mr. President, here's some money for you to campaign. Nobody's going to know. But these are the things we have to know, so that no one company or no one individual has undue influence over a presidential candidate. This is the reason in America it is impossible for a billionaire to give billions of billions of dollars as a single entity to a political party. It's undue advantage. There is nothing wrong with this. Here it is. I'm living proof. I approached them. I gave them my rates, the PF, and I did it with UPND as well. I gave my rate. Now, of course, PF paid more money than the UPND because they gave me more adverts. For every 5 adverts that PF gave me, UPND gave me 3 adverts. So the other problem that I saw is, remember, there was 2.9 million. Yes, it was 2.9 million kwacha that was released for Billboard adverts. What was supposed to happen was that 2.9 million kwacha was supposed to be shared amongst Billboard companies, existing Billboard companies, companies like Impact, companies like Alliance Media, guys that are registered with Lusaka City Council. But what started happening was that the guys in the PF started creating their own companies so that they were the sole benefactors of that Billboard funding. That was wrong. I saw that. I saw they were doing that, and that was wrong. What they should have done was they should have taken the 2.9 million kwacha that was released for billboards, and given it to billboard companies that were registered with Lusaka City Council. But they didn't do that. What they did was they created their own billboard company. This is the reason every so often you'd wake up and you'd find people creating billboards just anywhere and everywhere. They'd stick them on the bridge. They would make them on the side of the road. Some of them didn't even meet the standards. Are we now in sync? Matimba says the sound and video are now in sync. Okay, thank you. Some of them didn't even, some of the billboards that were created, that were haphazardly created, didn't even meet the standards. But because the guys in the PF, I don't know who they were, but I know that they were doing this. Because the guys in the PF wanted to keep that money for themselves, they decided to create their own billboard companies that were not registered with Lusaka City Council. But because PF was about lawlessness and they're breaking the rules and overriding procedure, nobody cared. Nobody cared who at Lusaka City Council. Okay, you're now sinking. Thank you. Who at Lusaka City Council was going to stand in front of the PF and say to them, why are you building billboards there? Nobody was gonna. Are you kidding? Those PF guys, those thugs, they would have looked at the town clerk and said, before we know what we're doing. So there was no one at Lusaka City Council to challenge the Patriotic Front on the way that they were haphazardly planting billboards all across the country. What they should have been doing was they should have taken the 2.9 million, and I have to repeat this for the sake of emphasis so that you understand. What they should have done was they should have taken the 2.9 million kwacha, which was allocated for billboard advertising under the Patriotic Front, and they should have shared this amongst billboard companies that were registered with Lusaka City Council, Impact, Alliance Media, and so on, given them the money to advertise. But they didn't do that because, the PF guys were so greedy. They said, 2.9 million. Shakuba pafie nabadia. Lekeni tulilepo. Lekeni tuchitekolelix, bane. Ambeni kupanga ma billboard companies. Chitenfe register tuamba finomboku chita plant. Let's just start planting billboards everywhere, anywhere, anyhow, anytime. Why let's shocking ama billboards. Pakati pabu shukuba let fit. Nga finish register. Yo, not what a contract. That's what was happening. So here's the thing. Zambia needs campaign finance reform. We do. Presidential candidates, we should have a system moving forward. We should have, no pun intended, we should have a system where we have a mechanism, a regulatory mechanism that gauges, that puts a cap and a limit on how much money a company can donate. Now, in the current scenario in Zambia, that would be very difficult to do because in Zambia, the mindset is the party has to give the people money. This only happens in Zambia. I'm not kidding you. In America, there's no such thing. In America, if you are a Democrat, there's no way you can go to the Democratic Party and say, Joe Biden would look at you like a calf looking at a new gate. You'd say, what? You should be giving the party money. If you really believe in the party, you, the electorate, the party members, you should be donating to the party. Have you ever, that's the reason why you hear about these fundraising dinners. Barack Obama, when he was running for president, he would have these fundraising, all presidential candidates in America, they do this. They have fundraising dinners where you go and each plate costs a certain amount of money. That money goes into the party coffers, and that's the money you use to campaign. Not in Zambia. In Zambia, mwana tsunga shan. Mwana tupera shinga. Muzulu chapa sharaf mari sempia shiri kui tupeni kwempia kaina tuchula alana fishupa ya kwendele shikwete kungando bunga takudi ero nsapatweshi na shipwa mwala tusunga shane. That's Zambian politics for you, mate. So here's the thing. We don't know how much money was allocated for advertising, but the law firm that was tasked, and I must confess to you though, I must say this though, the Patriotic Front were very professional when it came to this part of it. There were no excuses. When you signed the contract, you aired the adverts, because I gave them a certain amount of adverts. They paid according to what we agreed. And there was no cash. It was not cash. They never gave me cash. They transferred it to our bank account, and it was done through lawyers. And this law firm, I spoke to the people at this law firm, very professional people, extremely professional. I got the sense that the Patriotic Front as a party hired this law firm to channel the money and pay the media houses that were engaged, paid them for their services. So it is wrong, it's misleading when this says over 100 million kwacha paid to media houses as Mwila implicates law firm on source of funds. This is not true. What's true is the PF paid this law firm paid us, the media houses, or the media houses that they went into a contract with. It is erroneous and misleading for anyone to say that this law firm, we don't know where the law firm got the money. No, it was the PF that gave the law firm the money to give the media houses that they had signed contracts with. Are you getting that? Are you with me? Which is why I get amused when I hear some of you, when you call me, you say I was PF. No, I was advertising. This was used as a platform, not only for the Patriotic Front, not only to advertise their manifesto in a sense, but the UPND did the same thing. Albeit the PF gave us more adverts because they paid more. The UPN, for every 5 adverts that PF paid us, UPND paid us for 3 adverts. And this is the reason the PF adverts seem to be ubiquitous on SML TV, is because they paid more. And so they got more views, more adverts. I hope that makes sense. Any questions? Guys, would you like to call me? If you're going to call me, only call me on WhatsApp. Let me see. Let me just put my number here. Oh, I can't see. Okay, call me on 0962 491 621 if you want to call me. 0962 491 621. But only call me on WhatsApp. Don't call me on the regular line, because if you call me on the regular line, what's going to happen is that the regular line is going to conflict with the WhatsApp. And so there'll be a lot of cutting. So if you want to call me on 0962 491 621, but only on WhatsApp. And tell me what you think about campaign finance reform. Ubiquitous. Yes, that means the PF adverts were ubiquitous on SML TV, meaning they were very frequent. There were a lot of those adverts on SML TV because they paid for them. I mean, could you imagine for a moment if I got paid for something I didn't do? I mean, that would have been a scandal. 0962 491 621. Call me on WhatsApp only. If you have a question or if you want to ask me something, or if you want to give me your 2 cents worth, go ahead and tell me. I can't see my numbers board here because it's too close. 0962 491 621. 0962 491 621. Only WhatsApp calls. Don't call me on that regular line, okay? Please don't do that because it'll just conflict. So basically, I'll have to say this again. Zambia needs campaign finance reform. That's what we need. It's going to take us a long time because right now, Zambians, we have this idea that, hello? Hey there.
Yes, morning.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I've been following your program and I'm interested by what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very good thing that we introduce the finance reform.
Yes.
From Zambia, was watching very much corrupted.
It's too much.
Yes, I've mafia okutosha Taliban. Ashitamo invest mu campaign, pachiranga after ni shoka contra president.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're feeling okay, at the end of the day, the president become voiceless. So it would be a very good thing. Your finance reform, guys.
Very true. I agree with you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is Mbumbunde from Sorezi.
Kusolwezi.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your contribution.
Okay, have a nice day, sir.
You too.
Right.
And he makes a very valid point. You know, that's the issue, is that if you have any big company or big corporation or some type of big entity, and he gives a very good example. Could you imagine, for example, if the Taliban, they like a candidate and they've got gobs of money, millions of kwacha, they come to a presidential aspirant and they give him millions of dollars and says, okay, when we get you elected, this is what you need to do for us. That's why in America, that system it's an airtight system. They don't mess around with campaign financing. They don't. They want to know how much money is being given to you as a party and who is giving it. And so they put a cap. They put a cap on it. They put a limit on it. So meaning it doesn't matter how many billions you own, you can only go so far, so that it creates a level playing field. And this young man has given a very good example. I mean, could you imagine the Taliban, you know, they like a candidate and then they decide to splurge millions of dollars. You're not going to know. What, you think you're going to know? We wouldn't know. Or what if some big Chinese corporation, hint, hint, some big Chinese corporation comes with stacks and stacks and stacks of US dollars and says to a Zambian presidential candidate, hey, listen, we're going to give you this money, but give us the lower Zambezi. When you become president, give us the lower Zambezi. Let's mine the lower Zambezi. But whatever we get from there is ours. But here's $10 million. It happens. It can happen. That's the reason campaign finance reform is imperative. We need, and the only way we can achieve that is to change the Zambians' mindset into understanding that Zambians, if you truly support a political party or a political ideology, you must be invested in that ideology monetarily. Not pakanwafie. Pachipani. Oh, forward. Ngamana tpela shinga. Ah, we. Ni mwe mfure mwapela ifu mpia mwe chipani. Mwana tusunga shiani. If the political party turns and says to you that claim to be a supporter of the ruling party, and the political party comes to you and says, how much money are you going to invest in the party? Many of you, 99.9% of you would say, inokupera imwe. You're supposed to give us the money. That mindset has to change. So call me 0962-491-621. 0962-491-621. But only call me on WhatsApp. Don't call me on the regular line, okay? Only on WhatsApp. 0962-491-621. Only on WhatsApp, okay? And it's not WhatsApp. It's WhatsApp, okay? So this is misleading. I have to say this again. It's misleading for them to say over 100 million kwacha paid to media houses as Mwila implicates law firm on source of funds. The source of funds is the PF. What's questionable is where the PF got the money. Someone donated to the PF. The PF deposited the money into the law firm, and the law firm was instructed to pay the media houses that the law firm entered into a contract with. Is that clear? Are you with me? There you go. That's my number. 0962-491-621. It's 62. Yeah, there you go. 0962-491-621. Only on WhatsApp. Okay. So we've got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go. And the thing about campaign money in Zambian terms is that it's unaccounted for. Someone could donate $1 million. A company could donate to the party, not the government, to the party. They could donate $1 million, but I can guarantee you that $1 million is not going to all go to the party. Baka swamo. $1 million. They'll probably spend like $200,000. $800,000 they just share amongst themselves. It's unaccounted. It's impossible to quantify and to account for. This is the reason campaign finance reform is imperative in this country. We need it. Moving forward, we need it. No pun intended. Hey guys, I gotta go. Thanks for listening, and have a lovely day. Bye.